Hi, welcome to You Didn't Get the Memo. I'm your host, Gloria Bailey Ray, and look, we got another great show for you today. Listen, I want all of you, every one of y'all got a book inside of you, and you keep procrastinating, talking about you want to write it, and I don't know where to start, what I'm going to do. Look, my guest today, she's going to put you on the right track. She's going to help you birth that book. That's right, birth it. You are going to bring it to fruition. But I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in today. And I want to remind all of you, especially for those who use your first time tuning in, is that You Didn't Get the Memo is about providing you, the viewer, with relevant, factual, mainstream information to help you be informed and to make informed decisions. Listen, this is a great format because if you have a question for my guest, you can put that question in the comment section and we'll do our very best to get to you and get a response. All right. Also, listen, I love it when you guys drop in the comment section where you tuned in from. So if you let me know where you are tuning in from, what city, what state, that would be awesome. But I want to get into it. I told you that my guest today is, look, Miss Renetta Gunn-Stevens. She is the CEO of Sophisticated Press, LLC. And let me just tell you a little bit about Miss Renetta Gunn-Stevens. First of all, you got to love it when you find somebody who know what they're going to do when they are a child. So at an early age, listen, Miss Renetta knew that she was going to be a trailblazer, that she was going to be a motivational speaker, and she was going to be an activation specialist. After many successful collaborations with family, friends, cohorts that resulted actually in professional advancement, she actually decided to join the world of entrepreneurship. And I can relate to that. So what started off as a published memorial for her birthday ended in a God-ordained profession of publishing. She is now a global ghost writer, author, and facilitator of a mass variety of self-published books in the marketplace. Now listen, Ms. Renetta founded Sophisticated Press Author Academy, which is federally trademarked. I told you, sister, ain't no under Sophisticated Press to assist fledgling authors with the process of introducing their manuscript into the literacy community. I want to welcome to the show Miss Renetta Gunn-Stevens. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you?
Look, all I can say is I'm blessed and highly favored, and to have you on the show, I'm like, look, let's get all of these books that people have inside of them. Let's get these babies birthed and bring it, to the forefront. So I'm just excited to be able to have you on the show. So thank you so much for being so willing to give it your time. I'm going to just start with, first of all, I always like to ask my guests about their backstory. So I want you to tell us, about what's your backstory, what's your background, how and why did you get into publishing? So I asked you about 3 or 4 questions in there at the same time, but let's just jump in and go forward. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Gloria, for the invite. It is such an honor to just, have a candid conversation today about self-publishing because it is so important in the economy today. And so who am I? My backstory, I'm just like every viewer that is tuning in tonight. I'm a young lady from Chicago, Illinois, who just like majority of society wanted to write a book. I had my book on a USB for about 5 years. That's right, 5 years. And it goes along actually with the stats because 80% of people want to write a book, but only 5% follow through. And so I was part of that 80% that wanted to write a book, but never followed through. And then I was turning 40. I know I don't look like I'm turning 40, but I was turning 40 back then. And
I hear you. I feel you.
And I said, this book been on this USB for too long. For my 40th birthday, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to publish this book. And so I began to go back to all of the self-publishing companies and publishing companies that I had initially started accounts with and started discovery calls with. And for some reason, it wasn't working out. The customer service was bad. Systems was breaking down. And then I just, had a moment with God. And I was like, Lord, what is going on? I'm trying to get this book published for my 40th birthday, but it's not working. And the Lord actually told me that's because I don't want you to publish your book with someone else. I want you to start a publishing company. So I was like, wait a minute, God, like, you're talking to me, right? Because I didn't go to school for this. I didn't, this isn't in my journal of my dreams and my goals. And he was like, well, the publishing industry needs some integrity. The publishing industry needs some honest publishers. And I got some children that I'm going to send through the publishing industry that got some stories to tell, that has some testimonies to share, that has some genius and some creativity that I need in the marketplace. And so I need to put some people in place that I can trust. And I was like, Mary, I said, be it unto me, God. And I said, if you teach me, I'll go into the marketplace as a publisher. And so what happened was that I self-published my first 4 books first and became my first client, so that I could understand the steps and the processes, the emotions, the self-sabotage, all of the ingredients, the writer's block that comes with self-publishing. So now that I'm able to help my clients, I understand every process of the way. And so I was able to self-publish 4 books. I'm 43 now. So within 3 years, I was able to self-publish 4 books, start my own publishing company, and help self-publishers around the world. As far as just internationally, we have people that are working with Sophisticated Press now.
Oh my gosh. First of all, look, you said so much up in there, you're gonna make me jump, just jump into the screen, okay? Because the first thing is that happens a lot of times is we and you and I were talking prior to going live, and one of the things that says sometimes the things that we want to do, you got to ask yourself, who are you doing this for?
Yeah.
And you have to be open and listen, and so you listened to what God had to say to you about this. And I love the fact you said so many key words. First of all, publishing companies need to have some integrity. That's something that, across the board, it seems that people have lost, right? Mm-hmm. The second thing is it almost seems like it's every man for themselves. You just kind of figure it out. And so to have a blueprint that will help you, because I too am a self-published author, but like you said, the headaches, the trials, the tribulations, and then when you started talking about writer's block, I was like, oh, come on now. You know what? You're going to kick this can right on down the road to me, because those are the things that so many people, and they have stories. See, we get caught up with thinking, don't nobody want to hear what I got to say. Everybody has something to say, and people learn from that. So to hear you even say that, I'm like, well, look, sister, I got the right person here today. And I love that. That's awesome. I want to say hi to all of my viewers who are tuned in. Hey, guys, thank you so much. They're already saying good stuff. What's up? Awesome. So thank you, guys. Keep the comments coming. So, all right. Look, I'm excited. I got to slow down.
I'm excited too.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about Sophisticated Press's company values, because you had already started. We know integrity is right there at the top of it. So what else can you tell us about Sophisticated Press?
Yeah, we're really big. Our values is about ownership. That's one of the values, because we truly believe that every business should have a book, and every book is a business. And so one of the greatest assets of self-publishing is you get to own your story. So many times we see stories in the media of the greats, and their family don't benefit off of the legacy of the greats, because other record companies or other motion pictures companies, they own their story. But with self-publishing, you have ownership. Another value of ours is community. We believe in helping you as the author create these virtual and global communities, because when you are not an island and you really connect with your writing community, writing a book and marketing a book becomes easier, because now you're not in it by yourself and you're around like-minded people. We also, another of our values is leadership. Writers really run the world. In fact, the world is really ran by a lot of dead men that left writings, left their genius in writings. You got Apple, you got the Constitution, you got so many, you got the Bible, you have so many people that are no longer here, but they left a book. They left a blueprint of their legacy in print. And so, we believe in leadership and using these books as leaderships and for leadership. And we also encourage our writers to always stay professional, always stay productive, and always stay profitable. And then the last value that we try to incorporate in all of our authors is accountability. No one is coming to save you. You're going to have to save yourself. And you can save yourself through self-publishing. And I'm a true witness to that. And so if someone do come and save you, they're not going to save you the way you would save yourself if you was in position to save yourself. And so we try to, really help entrepreneurs and 9-to-5ers to see that self-publishing is a way that you can take accountability of your life and how you want your life to be. And you get to determine how much you make in self-publishing.
I really, really like that, because that's one of the things I've heard all of these different stories about how people have ended up spending thousands and thousands of dollars and never even get their manuscript published. And so, and you're wondering, okay, what happened? Where did I go wrong? And to be able to have a roadmap. But I want to go back to something that you talked about as it relates to your values. You talk about ownership.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of meeting you. Has it been over 2 years or so ago?
Yeah.
You had someone that published here in Oakland, California, and you came from Chicago.
Yes,
Whoa.
I think.
You came from Chicago, and by the way, it was for Oakland, it was really cold. It was colder here than it was in Chicago. But you came and you talk about not only ownership, but the community. And to me, you embodied that when you showed up at this young woman's book signing. I was like, who does that? Right? But what I saw all along the way, what was you embracing and helping her to embody what it was that she had now birthed, which was her book.
Yeah.
And the accountability piece, you still held her feet to the fire. But the fact that I see these values, and like I said, who would know that 2 years later we become full circle? And I'd have the opportunity to sit down and chat with you about self-publishing. And so when you talk about sophisticated press, it's not just a company. It's just not a person. It's not, I'm looking at this and I'm just saying, oh my goodness, you're talking about this is all encompassing and something that so many people need to hear, to see, and to be aware of. So, I'm totally, loving that. So listen, like I said, I have to calm down because it's motivating me with this other book that I need to get out, and those are the things. But what we're going to do, we're just going to take a quick break. But when we come back, what I'd like to ask you to talk about is the type of people that come to you, that come to Sophisticated Press. So you guys don't go anywhere. Hang in here. This is some good stuff. This is collard greens, y'all, with some hot sauce on it. Don't go nowhere. All right. We'll be right back.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
doctors, nurses, and grocery store clerks can wear a mask for 10 or 12-hour shifts, you can wear a mask for an hour or less when you go to the store. Do your part. Mask up, America.
Hi there. If you are just tuning in, you are tuned in to one of the dopest shows that you will ever have the opportunity to tune into, and that is You Didn't Get the Memo with me, your host, Gloria Bailey Ray. I strive to bring to you, guests that will provide you with information that's going to be relevant, it's mainstream, it's factual. And today we have in the studio with us the CEO of Sophisticated Press, Miss Renetta Gunn-Stevens. Now, before we went to break, we were talking with her. She is the CEO of Sophisticated Press, LLC. And I posed the question to her. We want to talk about the type of people that actually she sees as coming through the doors of Sophisticated Press. So, Miss Renetta,
yes,
we're back. Tell us, about what kinds of people come to Sophisticated Press to get help with self-publishing their books.
Yeah, that's a great question, because we have a variety of people that come to self-publish your book. So I'll break it down in a few different segments. So we have our 9-to-5ers who are executives, they're supervisors, they're public health officials, they are lawyers, they're doctors, and they still want to write a book. And so I want to just first tell everyone that's watching, it's okay if you have a job. You don't have to quit your job to write a book. You don't have to quit your job or your career to, pursue that goal. In fact, by incorporating that goal, you're adding multiple streams of income, and you're making your resume more qualifiable for that promotion that you want. And so the two work together. So we have our 9-to-5ers. Now what we're seeing, and I love that this is happening, we're seeing a lot of parents who are investing in their children. So our youngest self-published author is 4 years old. I'm going to let that sink in. 4 years old.
Four.
Like four.
Wow.
She's in pre-order now. She's a California native. And so we are seeing parents. We have an 8-year-old. We have a 16-year-old. We have a 7-year-old. So we're seeing parents that are seeing these geniuses in their children at a young age, and they're beginning to invest in their children. These prodigy children that are just genius at writing and that just have an imagination. And when I tell you these children are able to have a meeting with me, a professional CEO, and they know exactly how they want their story. They know exactly what the characters are saying. And so we take them very seriously. And I love it because we don't have Happy Meal prices for children. Just because a child wants to write a book, they're not going to get a child price.
Right.
Price. And I love that parents are investing in that.
Well, not only that, what comes to mind when you were talking about these children, the Bible tells us to train a child up in the way that they should go, and they will not depart from, those trainings. And the thing is, when you start out, see, we forget the value of imagination, right? Yeah. When we were kids, I could read a book, it's all in print, but I had a vivid imagination. Mm-hmm. I could see the pictures, and to have parents that are feeding this with their children. And like you said, these children are developing streams of income. This is teaching them how to be entrepreneurs and how to be self-sustaining. So to hear that, I'm just like, what?
Yes.
Children? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Look, keep going.
It's exciting. It's so exciting because it definitely, you have YouTubers that are children under 10 making millions of dollars. And so this is a marketplace that we're in now where anyone can make money if they are confident in their creativity. The next segment of writers that we have a writer who she just made 70, and that was one of her goals, was to write a book and honor her mom that's no longer here. And so at 70, she's now got a second win because she's a self-published author and everyone is now inviting her to speak, inviting her to be a guest on their show. Now she's helping others heal their relationship with their mother, whether their mother is here or gone to glory. But these are the opportunities that books offer you when you invest in yourself and self-publish. And even though I'm a part of the publishing community, but I'm really big on embedding on yourself and not allowing anyone to tell you if your story is marketable or if your story is valuable for the marketplace. We all are humans, and whatever you've been through, someone else is going through. And if you've overcame that, you actually have an obligation to humanity to share how you overcame.
Oh, that is very, very powerful, and it's deep. And just to hear you, the range, from 4 to 70, so it to me, it just speaks to why I wanted to have you on this show, because we know that we've got this inside of us, our experiences, life experiences. You guys, y'all, don't discredit that. Don't discount the fact that, oh, don't nobody want to hear my story. That's not true. And when we opened the show, you talked about people who've left their legacy by a book, right? They're writing different things. Hey, I'm just telling you, history, if we don't pay attention, we lose so much. And so you're absolutely correct in what you're saying and what you're talking about. And I'm excited to be able to see you talk about these people. We have a comment from the audience, and they said the age range is so inspirational. It's never too late. And that is so true. So I'm just excited to be able to hear you talk about that. So you've talked about the age ranges. So let's talk a little bit about the services, that Sophisticated Press provides when someone walks through your doors or make that phone call. Tell us a little bit about that, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a la carte services. So let's say if some writers, they may have their manuscript written already and they may just need a book cover. They may just need formatting. So if you have some of your manuscript together and you just want a la carte services, we can provide that. If you come to us with no concept at all, one of the services that we offer is group mentoring. We have a small Facebook full of, all of the authors where once a week we have group mentoring. If you can't make it to group mentoring, we do have replays available for you. But we break down and teach you the steps to self-publishing. So that way, let's say you publish your first book with us and you want to do your second and your third book by yourself, at least you know the process, because we're really big on empowering people and just creating leaders. Leaders should cultivate leaders and should create leaders, not followers. And so we want you to know the process, because when you promote your book, the first thing people's going to say is, I wanted to write a book. How did you do it? You don't want to be like, I don't know, Sophisticated Press just did everything for me. We don't want you to be like that. We want you to be equipped to answer questions for your interviews, for your speaking engagements, and for your family and friends that need, some information. So we do the work for you, but we explain what we're doing for you. We're your accountability partner. And just going back to how you highlighted where we came to Oakland for My Dearest Imani, that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to be different. We didn't want it just to be where Sophisticated Press win out of the connection. We wanted a win-win connection. And so if you, as the writer, took the time to invest in this small business out of Chicago with the lady with red hair, right? Because some people would think that if you have red hair and dreads, you can't be intelligent, but that's further from the truth, right?
Amen. That's true. So true. So
I
true.
had that before.
Yeah.
And so if you invest in us, we wanted to be different. We wanted to really be with you from the day you signed the contract with us to your book signing. And that is what makes us have repeating clients. We're on third and fourth book, even if they do know how to do it, they still come back and do their second, third, fourth book with us because of the customer service and the community. And I'll just say this, my husband, sometimes he'll say, like, who you saying you love? And I'll say a client. When clients begin to tell you they love you at the end of consultation calls, at the end of mentoring calls, you know then that you've exceeded what you wanted to do, and that's make them feel important and make them feel like their story and our culture matters.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, we're going to pause for the cause. We're just going to take a really quick break. But when we come back, Ms. Renetta, one of the things I'd like for you to dive into is let's talk about the differences between a traditional publisher and a self-publisher, so we can clear that up. So you guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Because the fight isn't over yet.
You will see me choose to protect my community by wearing a face cover.
And even with my face covered,
you will see me.
As a son.
As a man with a never quit attitude.
As a fighter for change.
Join me in wearing a face cover.
To help stop the spread of the coronavirus.
Because this is one small act of kindness
that has the power to make a big difference.
All right. Hey, guys, if you just tuned in, you have missed, so much already. But of course, you can go back. It will stay up on my Facebook page and also on my YouTube page. But you want to catch my guest, Miss Renetta Gunn-Stevens, who is the CEO of Sophisticated Press. And she is talking about book publishing. It's her book publishing company. Before we went to break, one of the things that I asked Miss Renetta was if she would describe the differences between a traditional publisher and a self-publisher. So I'm going to, punt that ball back over to you and let you explain that to our viewers.
Absolutely. So with traditional publishing, you have to have a literary agent who will shop your manuscript around to the publishing houses. And based on the executive board, which is usually Caucasian, they will determine if the manuscript is marketable. And if they feel like it's marketable, and if you meet their criteria of, let's say, the celebrity status or the social media influence, criteria, then they will offer you a book advance. And so once they offer you a book advance, your literary agent, they're going to get a commission off of your book advance. Now, when you go the traditional publishing route, then it could take years. Right? I've seen publishers who have taken 3 to 5 years to publish a book for a client. And so after 3 to 5 years, your book advance is gone, and it is an advance. So you're still going to pay it back when you sell your books. And they'll do the marketing for you, but they'll also have more creative control because they put their money up into your dream, into your creativity. And so they're going to have ownership of your creativity. It may be a percentage, whatever the contract negotiates, but they're going to have ownership in your creativity. They're going to have ownership and more say-so over your book cover art. And they're going to have more say-so in the story, how it begins, the middle, how it ends. And so you're going to build a professional relationship with that company. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that works best for you and that's the route that you want to take, that's great. Nothing is wrong with that. But on the other end, there's another option for you, and that's self-publishing. With self-publishing, you are in control of the full production of your manuscript, the creation of your manuscript, the creation of your cover art, the marketing strategy for your manuscript, the registrations of your manuscript. And so you're going to have to be the person who spearhead everything that from the beginning of production to the end of production. Now, with this process, it is going to be not challenging, but it's not going to be easy. But if you come in knowing that it's not going to be easy, then you're not surprised when easy is not surfacing. But after you do the process by yourself, or if you hire a publishing company like Sophisticated Press, here are the skills you're going to come out with. Project management skills, time management skills. You're going to learn sales. You're going to learn marketing. You're going to learn social media. Why? Because you're going to be in control of doing all of this for your manuscript, for your story, for your legacy. And then when you're gone, because the truth of the matter is your book will outlive you. All your creativity is going to outlive you. But now you're leaving a legacy for your children's children, the way that the Bible describes that a good man should do. And so we encourage a lot of people to go the self-publishing route. And it is a trend that is increasing daily. We do have the opportunity to be a traditional publisher for you and give you a book advance. But the truth of the matter is either you're going to pay upfront in self-publishing, or you're going to pay in the back end when we give you a book advance and you still have to pay that money back. So either way it go, you're going to pay. But it's just a matter of if you want that ownership that we talked about, where you don't have to whitewash your book cover. Because I see a lot of Black women who have a white woman on their cover. And I'm not saying that's discriminating, but we want to help you to understand that if your niche market is African American women, it's okay to have an African American woman on the cover.
Yes, come on, speak. I mean, just speak the truth. That's the real deal. Because again, that goes back to something that I said, that I always constantly ask God before every show, who am I doing this for? Am I doing this, for me to impress people, or am I really doing this because I want to educate people? And every time it keeps coming back to wanting to educate and help people to be aware and to have knowledge. When it comes to where it's all about me and how many viewers and how many, then you know what? I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. And that's what I'm hearing you say. But so many people, it's like, oh, books will sell if it's somebody white on the cover. Well, you know what? Let me tell you, there are just as many white people out there wanting to read your story as there are Black people.
That's right.
And that is the truth of the matter. So I'm really happy to hear you say that, and to really bring that to to the forefront. So let's talk a little bit about, you've talked about the publishing and the contract, but there's something called intellectual property. Right. So what is meant by intellectual property? Who owns it, and why is that important?
Yeah, that intellectual property, that goes back to that ownership. That's your creativity. That's your invention. That's your concept. And it's important to protect that. And you own it until you give it away, to be honest. And so with self-publishing, we do make sure that all of the authors have copyrights, and that the copyrights are in their name, so that that way they own their story, they own their characters, they own the concepts that they're bringing to the table, any methods or any systems that they want to put in their book. We make sure that they own it because that's their intellectual property. And so that's really a nutshell what it is. It's your creativity.
Okay, so we have a question from one of the viewers, and the question is, what is some money out of? I think she meant, what is some money out of pocket, or what are some of the out of pocket estimates? I hope I got that right. Is that, I'm reading what you wrote. What is some money out of the pocket estimate? So that was the question.
Yeah, I'm not really sure as to what part of the process that you're on, but it depends on the company that you go with. It really does. And so you just have to see what your budget is. And I would also say too, even with budgets, expect to pay minimum, I would say $1,500 to $2,000 if you're self-publishing. Because the thing with self-publishing is you don't want your book cover to look like it was self-published.
Okay.
You want your book cover to look like it's professional, like it was done by one of the publishing houses. And so you want to pay a good graphic designer for your book cover. You want to pay a good formatter for your book cover. And you want to pay a good CEO like myself that's going to give you a product that when someone bring you to their conference or want to share their book with their team, that it doesn't bring down their brand. Right. So sometimes when people go self-publishing, are there ways that you can, you can publish it quick versus the traditional? So you can publish a book in a day.
Right.
If that book isn't,
which will reflect it being republished in a day.
Right. And I'm really big on when you connect with a brand that, again, it's these win-win situations. Is my brand going to come down if I show them my book? If I have high caliber clients, if I give them my book, are they going to be like, oh, this is, so you just want to at least create that budget for your legacy. And I can just tell you, every investment that my clients have invested with us, they've made that back within the first 60 to 90 days in self-publishing, because of the product that we produce for them, and also because of the sales strategy and the confidence that we cultivate in them. They're able to sell their books through pre-orders. When I came to Oakland the second time, I had a client who made $2,000 in an hour.
Yeah. As I said, I watched you work, and I was just amazed by hearing you talk about what you give clients when they come, to Sophisticated Press, because I tell you, invaluable project management, time management, social media, that is such a huge thing, because as you know, everything is viral at this point. So you got to be and have a part of that. So let me just also, we're talking about intellectual properties and the fact that you talk about who owns it, but also there's another piece to publishing called a ISBN. And I don't think a lot of people are really clear on what an ISBN is, and how it ties in with their book. So will you kind of unravel that a little bit for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So the ISBN number stands for the International Standard Book Number. And this is a 13-digit number that needs to be assigned to every format of your manuscript for retail and global distribution. I'll say retail distribution, because global, it can be on your website and you don't have to have an ISBN number, and you'll have global, access. But if you want your Barnes and Noble, your Amazon, your bookstores, it has to have a ISBN number, and that's for every format. So one ISBN number can go for your paperback version, your print version. You'll need an ISBN number for your audio. You'll need an ISBN number for your ebook version. So every format of your book requires a different ISBN number. You can go to myboker.com. Right? I'm sorry, myidentifiers.com, but the company is Boker. And if you go there, you'll be able to purchase your own ISBN number. And when you do that, when you are using these online platforms, they always ask you, do you have your own ISBN number, or do you want us to upload and give you one of ours? If they give you one of theirs, then they'll be listed as the publisher. Now, for some people, that may not be bad. Again, I never tell anyone if the decision they make is bad. It's whatever works for you. So if you want to use Amazon ISBN number, then it just means that Amazon is going to be listed as the owner and the publisher of the book. But if you want to be in control of your ISBN number, then you need to purchase your ISBN number at myidentifiers.com. And that way you can have your own ISBN numbers. And I would just say, if you know that you're going to write a lot of books, buy the package of 10 for $295. And that way you can just have enough ISBN numbers, and that way you're covered. You'll save a lot of money that way.
That's interesting. Now, I wasn't aware that you needed a separate ISBN number for an ebook. And if you're doing audio, so that's some good stuff. That's really, really good information. And the fact that people can go and purchase their own ISBN numbers, that is another thing that I think people need to watch out for when you're talking and going to people who are saying that they can help you publish a book, but they've got to charge you. So their markup, you can go to, you said myidentifier.com, and for $295, get the whole package of 10. And yet somebody else tells you, oh, well, you know what, it's going to cost you $595. And I just know that because I've experienced that.
Yeah.
So, so they're actually getting a markup on something that you can actually do yourself. So that's why I say this is really, really great information to help those people who are really wanting to self-publish their book. So
Yeah.
thank you. Oh my gosh, so much for that. All right. So here we come. All right. If you were to share with anyone any drawbacks to self-publishing, which, from where I'm sitting right now, I'm like, man, I'm in the catbird seat for sure. But like with everything, we want to be able to have a balance.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to that? If I were, I'm saying, okay, what would be the one or two, maybe three drawbacks to self-publishing that you would want people to be aware of?
Yeah, I'm going to try to answer this question without being biased.
Okay.
I think the only drawback, if I could think of one, would just be to, I would just say, I don't know if it's so much as a drawback. I would just say the challenges or what you need to prepare is prepare your family, right? Because you're going to be doing this for production. So you're going to be taking time away from hubby, taking time away from the children. And so I would just say, prepare your family. If you can, assign them little tasks in the process so they feel a part of the journey. And that way, when they see that you're on your laptop and you're posting every day, that they don't feel left out and they'll understand what you're doing. And you're going to need help with posting. And so if you have a millennial child, incorporate their knowledge of social media. If you have a significant other, ask them, babe, what do you think about this? And how do you think about if we tried this marketing strategy? That way your family is included. And the other challenges is just sometimes we'll have clients who, they haven't healed through their story yet. So
Wow.
Get ready to tell their story, be prepared to go emotionally on a trip. You may have to go back down memory lane. You're going to have to sometimes worry about, I don't want to offend mama or I don't want to offend daddy, but this is what daddy or mama did to me and I have to tell my truth. Right? You're going to have some people who's going to be uneasy. And so there's going to be ways that you're going to have to tell your story without, severing family ties. And so those are a few things that, the challenges is that, yes, you're going to have to prepare your family. It's going to be emotional. And then the second thing is with that money, understand that dreams are free, but reality costs.
Oh, say that again.
Dreams are free, but reality costs.
Okay.
And I want you to believe that you're worth the cost.
Yeah.
Because it's not that we've never paid what it costs to self-publish. We just never paid it for something that was going to be an investment. Because we always, when we want something, we'll just pay it and not think anything about it. But then it's some reason for when it's something that's going to benefit us, it's like, oh, that's too much. And it's really, that's what we need to gravitate to and say, no, this is an investment. It's going to create multiple streams of income. Because what we've seen in our clients is that marriages have been restored, because one of the number one reasons why a lot of people divorce is because of income. But these books are bringing additional streams of income. So when you write a book and like one client got paid $3,000 for 30 minutes because she was now a published author, and that made her more qualifiable, that made her rare, that made her stand out from all of the other candidates that wanted to get hired to speak, that $3,000 helped arguments stop in the marriage, because we don't have to worry about this light bill, this heat bill anymore.
Right.
So those are the only drawbacks is that, again, it's not going to be easy. That's why only 5% follow through. But if you follow through, you're going to become rare, and people pay for rarity.
Right. I like that. And I read that somewhere too. It's because, like you said, there's so many people, they have an idea, they want to do it, but only, 5% or less of people actually follow through. And that is what makes you rare. So just hearing you say that. And I like the way that you said, I use the word, asking you what were some of the drawbacks. But yeah, I like the way that you encapsulated that, and really, it's more of a challenge, because when you sit down and write, and I know that for myself, I do better when it's really, really quiet, but it's, of course, it's late at night, and then you look up and it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. And then, of course, my mind is racing, can't get to bed. But it's those things. And it's also about making time. It's about making time. And going back to something that you said, a lot of people who are dealing with hurt and pain, you got to stand in your truth too. So that's what I want to say to the viewers. That's your truth. Not your mom's, not your dad. That's what you remember. And people will get upset. But you know what? One of the things that I really and truly believe is that you also have to just be in prayer. And you have to, if you feel in your heart of hearts, that's something that you need to birth and bring forward. There are so many people that are walking around hurt and angry and disillusioned and disconnected, because guess what? They've never dealt with the pain. They've never dealt with the trauma. They've never dealt with things that have happened to them. So to hear you say that, yeah, you know what? You may have a few challenges, but you've got to, as they say, man up, woman up, and say, okay, I want to do this. And if you really want to do that, I love the way you said it. It's about an investment, because we won't think anything about some of the things that we know folks spend $200 and $300 for, from where it's hair, nails, whatever, right? But yet, when it comes to putting that investment into yourself, which is actually going to put money back into your household, it totally makes a difference. And again, as someone who self-published my first book, I was blown away at, like you said, just the fact that you can make $2,000 or $3,000 at a book signing that was only supposed to be for an hour, right? So it's those particular things. So thank you so much, for bringing that up and highlighting and talking about that. So let's just get to, if you're able to talk about, the services, because you already talked about what clients are going to get, all of these things, they just don't just happen. Right. But, in terms of what Sophisticated offers, in terms of assisting your authors, what is it that you want the viewers to take away from today's show about what Sophisticated Press can, does, and will do?
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to change your mindset about money. Because so often there are so many different mindsets about money and the value of yourself and connections with money. And so when you become an author, you're now becoming an entrepreneur, whether you like it or not, whether you want to be or not. And so we're going to help you to understand that now you're no longer a consumer, you are a producer of content. And so with that producing of content, there is a fee associated with that. And so we'll have some clients who, they have a hard time charging people, or they feel like really they just love Jesus so much they want to give everything away for free. Well, that's not business. So we're going to teach you business, the business of self-publishing. And we're going to also teach you how to just tell your story and how to find your why. Because, going back to that example of telling your truth, some people, they may just want to just get their truth out because they've never been able to tell it. They've been muzzled their whole life. If that's the only reason why you want to publish your book, it's nothing wrong with that, as long as we understand that going in. So we need to establish your why. Are you doing this just so you can tell your truth? Or are you doing this to go back and get a nation of people that's hurting and that you can help them to stop hurting? Once we establish your why, that's going to be the anchor that's going to help you go through the whole process. So when you don't feel like writing, when it's nice outside and you want to go outside instead of writing, when you have writer's block, or when you're being a perfectionist, we're going to help you remember your why, that, hey, people are waiting for your story. People are waiting for the instructions on how to get out of this pain, how to get out of this situation. So we teach you your why, we change your mindset about money, and then we also teach you how to sell. A lot of people, we've worked for people for so long in building their dreams that when it's time to communicate our dreams, we simply don't know how to do that. We simply don't know how to sell ourselves and how to persuade people to believe in us and believe in building our dreams the same way we go to work every day and build their dreams. And so we're going to teach you how to sell, because selling is one of the greatest skill sets that you're going to need in self-publishing. But selling is about relationships. We teach you how to cultivate relationships because you have to know your niche market, and you have to not one and done your niche market. So we're going to teach you how to build professional and productive relationships that are going to benefit from your expertise, from your creativity, from your genius that you put in a book. Another thing that we do is we offer payment plans. And that is what a lot of our authors love about us. We understand that you may not have, all of the money up front to self-publish your project. But if you're willing to do a payment plan, we offer payment plans because we want publishing to be accessible and affordable for you. Again, I'm just like you. And I know firsthand that only 3 years ago, I was working a 9-to-5. And for 3 years now, I've been able to have my freedom. See, ownership is connected to freedom. For 3 years now, I've been able to help people as far as, I keep forgetting that state, that country that she's in. But we've been able to help people internationally, right? And we've been able to be available to do any type of meetings during the day, during the night, because of the freedom that ownership has given, the freedom that self-publishing has given. And so we're going to teach you how to fall back in love with having your own schedule, fall back in love with being the boss of your own life, because the truth of the matter is, I work with executives all the time, and they simply only know how to build everyone else's dreams. And when it comes to their dreams, the very thing they do on their 9-to-5, they don't know how to do it for themselves.
Right. Absolutely. And one last comment I will share with you is one of the viewers is saying, thank you for this valuable information. I'm just going to just say, hey, you guys, just stay right there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Thank you for watching the You Didn't Get the Memo show with your inspirational host, Gloria Bailey Ray. It's your contributions that make this happen. To become a sponsor, send an email to youdidn'tgetthememo@gmail.com. That's the letter U, didn't get the memo. If you're not in a space to be a sponsor, but you like what you hear, we simply ask that you support what you like by making a contribution to the show. There are 3 ways to make an online donation. Visit paypal.me/Gloria Bailey Ray or Cash App or Venmo, Gloria Bailey Ray. Give what you can. Your support is appreciated.
All right. So I want to say to all of you that have tuned into the show, I really appreciate your comments. Sounds like that you guys got a lot out of this. And I can tell you, we are just always happy to be able to bring you this type of information. I want to say to my guest, Miss Renetta Gunn-Stevens, CEO of Sophisticated Press, LLC. I want to thank you so much for being my guest on the show today. And one thing, will you just kind of give a shout out for your email or your contact website so that people can follow up with you, please?
Yes, absolutely. I just remember too where the client is. I have to say it. So Bermuda. So we're in Bermuda. Okay. But yeah, you can follow us at sophisticatedpress.com. We are also Sophisticated Press on all social media platforms. And we just started our podcast, which is Sophisticated Synthesis. And you can follow us on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, all of the major platforms for podcasting. And leave us a review and give us 5 stars.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So you guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. Remember to support our efforts by asking about our sponsorship opportunities, or again, you can make a donation of any amount. Be sure to like and follow me on all social media platforms. As I always say, if you didn't take anything away from today's show, then it's actually you who didn't get the memo. Guys, until this time next week, be well, be blessed, stay safe, and God bless. Thank you.